So I finally got my hands on the Skoda Kodiaq, and I know that it's been around for a while, and that is why, since there are n number of reviews, I would not give you redundant information, stuff that you already know. I would of course give you the essentials and at least one thing that no one has told you about. So let me start with the design first. See, again, I would not get into too much details because you have seen the car already. It is handsome, it is classy, it is understated. But the best part, according to me, of this particular car is, as compared to the older one, is that it now appears wider. Okay. Now there are two benefits. Of course, I am sure that everyone would want that wider stance as an owner. And secondly, imagine if you are actually driving on a narrow road and there is a car coming from the opposite side. Unless he is a douchebag, he will stop, he will just make way so that the wider car can pass. So now let's go inside and talk about the car more. Let's start with the third row of seats. They are fantastic for the relatives that you hate but can't avoid. Now finally, in the second row of seats where you or your loved ones would sit, those relatives and friends that are close to you, that you love. So yes, this is a very comfortable place to be. I mean, of course, I'm short, as you can see, but then normally what happens, I don't know whether you can see this or not, even for a person like me, I'm just 5'1", the under thigh support is something that not many cars provide. Okay, this is perfect. All right, my knees are not like this and they are not like this. I'm sitting in a very comfortable position and there's ample under thigh support for me, and I'm sure even people who are around 5'6", 5'8" would not find the under thigh support to be lacking. And of course, there's enough shoulder room and there's acres of leg room even for taller people. So yeah, a pretty good affair. Again, this would be bought by people who would want to travel in the second row, and second row comfort is paramount for this vehicle's target customer. And I'm happy to report that all is well as far as second row of seats is concerned. So now we are in the most important seats in the house, the pilot seats. And like I said in the introduction that I would not go into much detail about each and every feature because you know that already. Consider this, for example, take this review as like you have given me a call and you are asking me about the vehicle. So I would not go into each and every detail. I'll tell you the main things that matter to you. For example, you'll ask me something like, Shiraz, does the interior justify the price? And when you say the interior, I'm referring to the fit and finish. How does it make you feel? The features. The answer is a resounding yes. All right, there is everything. First of all, the fit and finish is exemplary, okay, for a vehicle in this segment, and there are no loose ends. Plus, you have all the features in this world. Now, people would say that this does not have ADAS. Now, let me ask you this: do you really think that a country like India is ready for ADAS? That said, I'm sure the next model that will come most probably in 2024 will have ADAS. But even right now, okay, first of all, again, this is a 5-star crash test rating, and Skoda does not compromise on safety. So yeah, it is one of the safest cars that you can buy in this segment. And I, for one, if I had to buy a car right now, I would actually buy it without ADAS, and there's a reason behind it. The biggest reason of them all is that in cars with ADAS, you have adaptive cruise control, wherein you cannot switch off the adaptive aspect of it, and that is a no-no in our kind of traffic. All right, so the one thing that I said in the beginning that no one has told you about, or you can say that no one has talked about it like they should. So this particular car, the LNK trim, okay, and this was not the feature that I'm going to talk about. This was not available earlier. Now this has dynamic chassis control. Of course, people would have read the brochure and told you about it, that this has dynamic chassis control, and again giving you an overview that this does this. how does it manage that, or what exactly is the difference? You would already know that it makes the ride sportier or comfier depending upon the mode that you are in. But then how does that happen? Okay, so this pertains essentially to the suspension. So primarily suspension can be put under three categories. So one would be your conventional suspension, which is absolutely mechanical. There is no electrical intervention in it. You will see that in the majority of cars. Then at the other end of the spectrum, there is fully active suspension, okay, wherein there is of course a lot of intervention, for example in the Audi A8 and again vehicles of those class. And then in the middle you have what we call is a semi-active suspension. Okay, so what happens is it is conventional mechanical suspension only, however the dampers are electrically controlled. Now this vehicle has that, the LNK trim gets it. What is the advantage? So I'm sure you would have seen many cars, okay, even 10-15 lakh rupee cars with drive modes. Now those drive modes in those cars, they only alter, they only affect the throttle response, that is it, all right. And then in segments above those cars, okay, for example in this segment itself, all the cars that have drive modes, in those cars drive modes would alter the steering feel and the throttle response. They would not touch, they would not alter the suspension. Here in this one, the DCC does that. So essentially what it does is it plays around the damping settings. So for example, I'm sure you would have seen in motorcycles, you have the rebound and compression adjusters, okay, those manual adjusters. Of course there are motorcycles wherein you can adjust those electrically as well. So that damping is being adjusted when you choose a mode. For example, in the LNK variant and in the Sportline variant, you'll see drive modes. Okay, for example, there is eco in both, there is normal in both, there is sport in both, and there is an individual setting that you can tailor all the settings in both. There is a snow mode in both. However, in the vehicle equipped with DCC, there is a comfort mode as well. So what is happening in the city, when you choose comfort, the ride becomes softer, the steering becomes lighter, the throttle response again is softer in comfort mode and in eco mode. But let's just talk about the suspension. When you go from comfort to sport, okay, that is the mode that you will be using in ghats. The suspension firms up, the steering gets heavier, all right, and the RPM okay, rises. This is something that happens in every vehicle with a sport mode. Okay, the moment you put it in sport mode, the RPM rises by 500 RPM. It puts you into that spot that the moment you hit the accelerator pedal and you just immediately fly. The car flies, of course. So essentially, if you get this LNK variant, you can alter the ride quality. Okay, if you choose comfort, it will be a very comfortable ride quality. Okay, there would be a lot more damping. In sport, okay, everything firms up. In Sportline, ideally Skoda should have made this feature a standard feature in all of the trims. Maybe in future they do that. And yeah, so that was something that not everyone, I'm sure, has told you about, and now you know. So if you are in the market for this, please get this one. Does it make a night and day difference? No, it does not. Okay, but it is certainly perceptible. You can feel the difference. How about the power and gearbox? Okay, the engine is super smooth. All right, they again Skoda uses DSG transmissions in most of their cars. I wish they had a torque converter, because in our conditions it's torque converters, okay, that actually prove to be the best automatic gearboxes. But then even this gearbox is very good. If you must know, it's a 7-speed gearbox and shifts into 7th at 75 kilometers per hour and above, of course. So yeah, that's any gearbox that shifts into its top cog at anything above 70, 75, that actually makes it a relaxed highway cruiser as well. In the city, keep it in eco mode or keep it in comfort mode, and there's ample of power. Sport mode, the throttle response becomes a bit too sharp, in chock-a-block traffic. So you would want to avoid that. Keep it in eco, keep it in sport, or keep it in normal, and you would have absolutely no problems. It's a smooth affair all throughout. So the crux is there is a lot of power. Okay, it's not, of course, a 400 horsepower monster, but then for all intents and purposes, this has all the power in this world. You love it in the ghats, you love it in the city, you will love it on the highways as well. Okay, the composure, the sound deadening, everything is top notch, of course, for the segment. And as far as the visibility is concerned, visibility all around is pretty nice as well. Now, does it make sense? Of course it does. See, you do not have semi-active suspension in anything under 50 lakh rupees, if I'm not wrong. Okay, this is the only car in the segment that gives you that. And it's understated, classy. I mean, this would be bought by people who are educated, okay, who do not want to flaunt their political associations on, via flag on the bonnet. So this is, a car for those people. And yeah, so that was my first impression review video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comment section below, and I will answer each and every one of them. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. And do leave a comment, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Thank you so much.